Should we wait a minute or two?
Yeah, sure. Let's wait.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we can start with the orchestrator updates from Alex.
You're still muted, Alex.
Oh, sorry. Okay. It's only short information about maybe I changed. We upgraded the Go version or Magma components to version 1.90. More precisely 1.90.3. And one of the changes in the new version was this formatting tool, which now supports not only the reformatting the Go code, but also the reformatting of comments inside Go files, and which generates some effects that are not quite good. We had to adapt our comments after that, and one of the problems was, for example, that something like this lists are not supported anymore, so they will join to one list in any case. So this is what we had done during the upgrade process. Okay, that's all from the Go upgrade. I think Cameron is the next one.
Yeah, sure. So I have a couple of updates. The first one is about the building of third-party dependencies. So there are several third-party dependencies that are built and used by Magma, and there's a build.py script that's used to build these. But until recently, these weren't built and published in the CI. So I can share my screen. So yes, there are. Sorry, where am I? Yeah, so there are many different third-party dependencies, so a eventlet, etc. And previously, we only built and published Nettle, I believe. But we went through all of the different dependencies, and we checked that we could build them with this build.py script. And then Fritz has made a pull request where he has adapted this workflow, and now it's running in the CI, and they're being built and published to the Artifactory. Any questions on that?
So these are the Docker images or what?
No, they're Debian packages, I believe.
Debian packages. Okay.
Yeah.
So these are the dependencies for the access gateway that we need.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay. So when you say like pushing to the Artifactory, the old one or new one?
I believe they're still being pushed to the old Artifactory, but if someone else knows some more information, please correct me.
No, it's still pushed to the old Artifactory.
Okay.
And FYI, it's not pushed regularly. So it's a manual thing to trigger a push to the Focal CI repository.
Point, thank you.
So whenever we run the workflow manually from GitHub.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, to be completely correct, my understanding is I had a look during the review, and my understanding is it is building regularly, but the actual push to the Artifactory needs a manual triggering the job. But it is continuously tested that the dependencies are still buildable.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Niels. Anything else there? If not, I have a quick update about documentation. So I'm not sure who's aware of this, but previously we had 2 links to Magma documentation. So we had this docs.magmacore.org and also magma.github.io. And recently, the former, the deployment was broken. It was done by Netlify, which we didn't have access to, and it started failing, which meant that when changes were merged to master in the documentation, they weren't reflected at this URL. But again, Fritz, who's not here, was looking into this, and I'm not sure who did it exactly, but he was in dialogue with someone who has redirected this URL to this URL. So now if you go to this, you get the magma.github.io, which means that the changes in master are now reflected in this, and the documentation should all be up to date. So this is a small fix that I think people should be aware of. Any questions about that?
So do we still need that old domain like docs.magmacore, or the redirection is the thing that we want?
I'm not sure. I guess we don't need this anymore. I think that I'm not sure whether the Netlify job was removed or whether we just kept it and redirected the URL. But I guess the main point is that at least things are
Netlify is removed.
Okay.
The old docs.magma.org should now redirect to GitHub documentation hosted in the GitHub pages. So that URL should now redirect to the new location. And that's, yeah.
We how are they managing this domain? So who is controlling this docs.magmacore.org?
I was in contact with someone from LF that is managing that. And I asked them to redirect docs.magma.org to the GitHub page of Magma. And that's what they did.
Okay. So, but previously it was fine because source was originally GitHub pages, right?
No,
Because
the
only
source
domain name
was pushed via Netlify to some special thing, and that was then hosted as docs.magma.org. That was fully independent of GitHub pages. GitHub pages just additionally also displayed them.
Okay, so if we just put a CNAME file and put the docs.magmacore domain in there, so we can keep the domain and everything will be hosted on GitHub pages. How about that?
I'm not sure if that's the current implementation or if they just added a redirect or rewrite rule. We need to check.
If we want that,
right
yeah, if
context.
we want that, we can do that.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, then yeah, we can work on this because that's what we have been doing in the past, I guess. Okay, it's fine. We can work on it. Any more questions for Cameron? Okay, then we can move on to the release updates from Sebastian.
So hi everyone, a short update from my side. So as most of you probably know, some build jobs or something in the repository keeps breaking every few weeks because there's an update to third-party dependencies that is somehow incompatible with what we've set up. And we've backported some of the recent fixes to 1.8 in an effort to keep that branch green in the CI and buildable. At the moment, there is no plan for 1.8.1 release, but at least it should be possible to work on the branch again with the backport.
But that means you can install the branch, but not the tag. The Git tag is currently broken.
It depends on what you're trying to do. I think you can do the installation, but if you check out the Git tag and try a dev build, it will not work because of these dependency issues.
Okay. So just the dev dependencies moved on or changed.
Yeah, I mean, if you run a dev installation on your VM, it gets the dependencies from setup.py. If you run a prod installation, it uses the Debian packages or the Docker registries, and there I don't think they have these issues at the moment.
Okay, good to know.
All right, any more questions about this? Not, then I believe Niels is next.
Yes, hello everybody. I will share my screen. So I want to start with a Bazel update. In between, Chris will take over. What I want to talk about is that the Debian artifacts are now uploaded to the Artifactory and tested in CI. This was already presented in the DevOps monthly. I don't know if we had the complete same audience, so I will try to go quickly over this from an engineering perspective. So in CI, we build also the Debian artifacts with Bazel now, and they are uploaded to the Magma core Artifactory here. You can find them with the version 1.9.0, so there are not a lot of them, and 1.8.0. These are still the make builds, and they are still created as well. So if you have problems with the Bazel build Debian file, you can still use the make created file, but I encourage you to try out the Bazel Debian files. We tested them very much. They are running in CI in an integration test workflow. But if somebody tests it, find any problems, feel free to contact us so we can have a look. So this is Magma. SCTPD is uploaded as well. And as a little spoiler, this is the Linux Foundation Artifactory. And today the first Bazel artifact was uploaded here as well. So this is the first double push. You see more 1.9.0 artifacts, but these were synced from the Magma core Artifactory. So, but again, this is currently in review. The pull request then manages this, and this was a manual run, but hopefully then we will have this double push until we have the switch over. So as I said, these artifacts are tested in CI as well. We are still suffering from flaky integration tests, but this is the workflow, Bazel Debian build. And if we take a look at one that was failing here, here we see that only one test failed, and this is a job that is currently under a test that is currently under investigation. So hopefully we will have green jobs runs when this is investigated. Cameron is currently looking into this, and for the runtime, the complete run took a little bit over 3 hours. Executing the test 2.5 hours. So we have, compared with other integration test workflows, a very short time of setup, and it's almost completely test runtime. That's it about the Bazel Debian artifacts. Do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, I have a question. When new setup of Artifactory is finished, will we have a new domain, or we can keep the old Artifactory domain name?
We cannot keep the old Artifactory name. There is LF did not want to set up forwarding for that. That was initially in discussion, and it we did not find a solution for that redirect or for that DNS name. So that the URL of the Artifactory is about to change, and that's a breaking change for deployers. Yes.
So in the 1.9 release, yeah. Sorry,
maybe I can give a quick update about my perspective regarding the Artifactory migration when we are finished with the Bazel updates. Then I can summarize what is currently happening and what is open. Yeah. Okay. So then I would like to show you something about developer experience regarding Bazel. We now have the Bazel bash completion in the different containers and virtual machines. For example, I'm here on Magma test, and it is now possible to use here bash completion with tabs. So Bazel, and then you see possible flags and possible verbs like build, test, and so on. So if we do Bazel build, we can now use the syntax for the Bazel targets. They usually start with // and then we can go through our structure. So for example, LTE, gateway. I mean, you don't see it, but I'm using tabs for completion here. Python, Magma, pipeline D. And the nice thing is, now you see here, it suggests to go deeper in pipeline D. There are, for example, tests inside, but also this column is suggested. This means that this is already a target. So if I do this, I can build pipeline D with Bazel directly. So it's convenient for developer experience to quickly write Bazel commands instead of typing them completely manually. Any questions about that? Then, before I talk about the Artifactory, Chris wants to give a small update about the ongoing Bazel switchover.
Yes, hi everyone. So the Bazel switchover is in progress. Step by step, we are getting rid of make, and as part of this, now the AGW is not running the unit test. It is only running the Bazel workflow. So it is covered by the Bazel workflow. That's why we removed it, and we remove make targets that are no longer used. And the documentation is also updated. We are migrating it from make to Bazel and changing everything accordingly when we are switching over. And some make commands, make targets were removed related to coverage and testing. For example, test OAI and coverage OAI. That's all. Are there any questions? Then Niels, please continue.
Only because it was asked about the state of the Artifactory migration. So this is only my current state. Tomorrow there's a meeting to find open topics. So the first step that the Magma core Artifactory is synchronized to the Linux Foundation Artifactory is done. So everything was moved over at a certain timestamp. So currently, if something is added to the Magma core Artifactory, we need to take care either to ask LF to synchronize this again, or we need a double push. Double push, we have a couple of workflows that push to this artifactory. So for Debian artifacts, for Docker artifacts, and so on. These workflows need to be able to push to both artifactories until the switch over, then only to the Linux Foundation Artifactory. The biggest job that pushes to the Artifactory is the well-known build all job. Tim is currently working on this to make it double push ready. The Bazel build workflow, you have seen already that there's a pull request that is already tested, that works to push to the Linux Foundation Artifactory. The other jobs are of smaller nature, like the third-party build job, and one job is still completely missing. This is the Open vSwitch build job. We use a patched version of Open vSwitch so that this will be pushed as well when we need an update. But of course, the initial sync already happened. So there is a patched Open vSwitch version on the Linux Foundation Artifactory. But of course, we should be ready if we want to update it. The second part afterwards is what Max mentioned, and this still needs some discussion. So my understanding is we will not be able to create a redirect after the switchover. This means that we will need changes in our current repository where we use the different Magma core artifactories. We need to change it. And also for users of older versions, if they want to upgrade, they might need to do changes in their code as well. And this needs to be discussed, how this is communicated and documented. Any questions about my understanding of the current state?
So just one question for the 1.9 release. So one of the major change will be Artifactory, that all the routes will be you will have to change. That is one. And for the upgrade, we also have to write scripts for where we are changing the Artifactory, we're removing the old and adding the new one. So both of the things we'll have to take care in the 1.9 release, right?
I don't know what you mean by script that needs to be created.
So when we release the new version, we create an upgrade script. Let's say you have an access gateway which is running, but let's say 1.9 is out and all our packages are there in the new Artifactory, not in the old one. So you have to write a script that will like update your apt source file that will point to the new Artifactory.
If I understood correctly, then this is what I meant by that people who want to upgrade and are currently using a Magma version that is based on the Magma core Artifactory, that yes, this needs to be handled. But there's an idea how to do it. You had the idea, and there are others as well, but it needs to be discussed what is the correct way to go forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's no solution yet.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Any other questions for Niels? Yeah. I guess, yeah. Okay. We have Niels next for security updates.
Hello,
sorry, not Niels, Lucas. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so good morning. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So this is an issue that started with a disclosure from an independent security researcher, a person named Merlin Costa, who is known to Max and is a reputable security researcher. This person has written papers on protocol level security problems related to the EIA 0 integrity protection. And so let me back up a little bit and explain what that is.
Sorry, Lucas. One question, because I was in the TSC meeting when this was presented, and there you stopped the recording. If you want to do this here as well, just FYI.
Thank you for reminding me on that. Yes, we should stop the recording on this because we should always not save videos. Who owns the recording right now?
Handle. It's programmed in the meeting to record.
So let me try if I can do it. Give me 1 second.
But that's why we are fixing that. Sorry, I need to drop early today. Have fun.
Okay. So while we're talking,
so yeah, should I stop the recording or should I pause it?
That would be right. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, pause or stop.
Probably stop unless we're going to have more conversation not related to security after this.
Okay, then I'm stopping it.
Okay.